Secondary Heroes Artist Alley. We are live here today on the Nerds Unite Network with in my opinion, a legendary and amazing artist. His name is Dino Tomic. Welcome, Dino, to the Secondary Heroes.
Hello, guys.
Hey. And for those of you who are just joining us right now, Dino is actually coming to us live from Norway. So is almost the future there, actually. If you give us a few more hours. What's up, says Nerd and Cheese. Well, welcome everybody in the chat. Looks like we have almost 60 people now joining us. Very nice. That's exciting. Thank you for joining us today. Who we have here today is a very, in my opinion, prolific artist. I believe that your art kind of ranges in style from a lot of different mediums and styles, which is kind of exciting to talk about today. We're really happy to have you on here. Let's see if anyone has any questions. And hopefully your audio doesn't stay frozen. Well, we'll give them a few seconds here to see if he reconnects. Okay, good. It's always tough when we're far away and it's like, uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
So since we have everybody in here, I always start off with kind of the question of, so you're in Norway now, but you were born in Croatia, correct?
That's correct.
Now, did you spend most of your life there? Like, did you actually grow up there, or were you born there and moved to Norway?
I grew up in Croatia, and when I was 14, I moved up to Norway and lived here ever since.
Wow, so that was like really your formative years were in Croatia then.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very nice. I bet you that a lot of the surroundings kind of influenced your art too. This is a beautiful place to live.
In Croatia? Yeah. And I would say no, not really.
Okay.
No.
It depends, I guess, on where you live there too. You know, if you're close to the beach or not, or you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I drew like tiny little skeletons and stuff, so I don't know if I can be influenced by rocks.
Oh, Croatia. I gotcha. Okay, that's funny. Anyways, so you were there. Now, did you start out as a kid drawing all the time, or is this something you kind of came to later in life?
Ever since kindergarten, I basically never stopped drawing. I was always drawing when I was a little boy, and then I'm still doing the same thing I was doing 30 plus years ago.
Nice.
So yeah.
Very nice. Now, did you go in Croatia? Did you go to school for any of this stuff? Was like art taught there for you?
No, not in Croatia. When I moved to Norway, I started going when you finish like the high school, I think it's called in English. So I picked the next stage was to pick something that's related to art. So I went to art school, and then I just moved further away from it or more into it, and then I went to classes to become an art teacher. Now I have like a bachelor's degree in arts, which I never used.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes degrees are kind of useless in most artistic fields. I feel like there's more about the experience than necessarily what you're taught sometimes.
Yeah. So. Exactly.
So right off the bat, we actually have someone in the chat, Jen, one of our fans here. She wanted to know if you had any influences in your artwork.
I have so many, and especially like today when you have Instagram and all the other different platforms, and every single day you find like 10 different artists that blow your mind every single time. It's just crazy. But like before, when there was almost no internet, when I started working, you could just Google this stuff that was online, and there was like rarely any good artists. I mean, you had like the classic huge comic book legends and everything, which I really looked up to, but you couldn't find like casual people who are really good in different countries like you can today. And so,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you went to school, I'm guessing you went for a general art degree then. So you kind of learned a lot of different styles. It wasn't like you went just for illustration or
pretty
specific.
Much. They were covering all the basics. Since I was supposed to be an art teacher, I need to learn everything about anything, basically.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I noticed in your art, as you can see behind myself and Josh, you have a kind of a wide range of styles that you have drawn in as well. It's not like you pick like a certain style and like that's it, then you're gonna stick with it. You know, it seems like you kind of branch out.
Definitely, that's one of the things I really wanted to do when I started drawing, because when I look at other artists, I'm like, oh, you're really amazing. I really like what you do, but if I see you do the same kind of thing that you're comfortable with and you know how to do over and over again, sure, it's impressive, but I've seen it. Show me something else. Can you do anything else? And then I quickly lose interest when I look at people who do like repetitively the same kind of stuff. So I try to not do the same thing, both for people who look at my art and for myself, because I tend to get quickly bored of doing the same things. And if you're
Sure.
bored, you don't progress. And if you don't progress, you don't get better, obviously. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that philosophy.
yeah.
Good morning. So we have some more people heading into the chat now. We
Yeah.
got Ryan and Mark. Hey, welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us. Just for those who are now joining us right now, we have Dino here. He is in Norway. His art ranges from very many styles. So I would say to check out his Instagram because it's quite impressive. A lot of different art and video on there for you to check out his artwork. Josh, are you able to field any
Yeah.
questions from the chat?
Yeah, I got all the questions right here. So we have one from Hey Mr. Rosario. He says, how did he find his own niche?
Well, I didn't. I'm still searching. Like that's one of the things. I do so many different things that I don't have one specific thing that people like from me, because I have like different kinds of groups of fans, you can say, like people who really like my color pencils, and people who really like my gunpowder stuff, and really people who love my salt artwork, inverted artwork, yeah, like all the different things. But very rarely is there somebody who really likes everything I do. So it's like I cater to so many different people and groups.
Huh. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the answer too.
Based on that, Christina asked, how did he get into working with non-traditional medium like salt, black powder, and water resist, etc.?
Yeah, good question. So when I was doing a lot of traditional stuff, I was always, doesn't matter how good I was always compared to some other artist who was doing it like way, way, way before me, and normally somebody who's already mastered it. So if I would do like when I did a series of my giant pencil portraits, I spent like 3 years drawing them, and that's like the best portrait I could ever do with the abilities I have had, and they were super impressive for, I guess, most people, and I was very happy with them. But I was always compared to somebody who has already done very big realistic portraits. So it was always like, oh, you're very good, you remind me of that guy. That was kind of that kind of gave me a light bulb, because I didn't want to be compared to somebody. So I tried to branch out and do something that nobody has done, or at least not a lot of people have done. And whatever I would venture out to do, I would try to master it as best as I can. So if I would do, like, let's say, the gunpowder pieces, I would do like maybe a lot of work, and they will be popular, hopefully. And then if somebody else would do a gunpowder piece, they will be automatically connected to me. We're like, oh, you're very good, you remind me of Dino. So kind of like flip the tables as well. So that was a little bit about my mindset behind it.
That's all. Well, how did you come up with that idea to use gunpowder to create art?
So when I started branching out, I started doing salt artwork, which I was inspired by Art Attack. It was like a German television show back then, and he was drawing very big, very bad by today's standards portraits, but that inspired me. I always had it with me when I was a kid, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should try it one day. And then I gave it a go. And since I know all the techniques and everything, how to make a portrait, how to make something look good, it transitioned so easily for me to paint on a carpet with salt that wasn't any problems. And then, since that was a big success for me, at least, I tried to find another substance that was very close to a grain of salt. And then what else than gunpowder? I mean, you can burn the artwork.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, it's so unique to see that. So those of you who have not checked out his Instagram, there are videos both on YouTube and Instagram of that process too. It's a lot of fun to watch. You burn the gunpowder and create art out of it.
Yeah, and kind of going to Instagram, Hey Mr. Rosario asks, I see that he has a series of characters in multiple styles on Instagram. What was the process like? And does he use references or totally from scratch?
So when I started doing that was like 3 months ago now. I started doing my first ones, and since then I've done like 600 different drawings of these. I do like 9 to 20 of these drawings per day. And the reason why I started, a good friend of mine, a very good artist called Adote from France, he was visiting me here, and he was doing the same kind of thing, but he was using the anime style instead. And I was inspired by him, so I tried my own thing. And at the very beginning, I was heavily influenced by characters that already existed, because I wasn't familiar with those styles, because that was something completely new. I haven't done it before. So I kind of ventured out, and I was trying to copy as best as I could. to mimic the styles because I didn't know how to do them. But like if I do it today, since I did like so many in the last few months, I don't need basically the reference photos. Um, I just start drawing and it kind of looks like the style. Since there's like you can quickly learn what is the main focus per style, like how you place the eyes, how do you draw the jawline, the ears, the placement. So everything has a formula, and if you crack the formula, it's very easy to manage to copy a style
For
or
sure.
reproduce.
Or even manipulate that too. Once you have the
Yeah,
base down, you'd be like, oh, now I can know how to break that.
yeah, it's
Fun.
incredibly easily if you know what you're looking for. It's so easy to kind of learn the small little tweaks because the animations that I'm copying, they're all like very basic. You have like Simpsons and Family Guy and Rick and Morty. They're all designed to be easily recognizable and easily drawn because they need to be mass produced, and
Right.
thus they're very easy to copy since the formula is very easy.
Yeah, you're right.
When you're doing that style of making like the copy thing, do you kind of feel like a voice impersonator? Like, oh, I'm gonna, because it has like a similar idea through art.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's the same kind of thing.
Because what was interesting too is I know fandom kind of shared your pieces like this, and kind of that's how I noticed you a lot more. Was that there was like showing it like almost like every other day on your
Yeah.
different pieces of art like this.
hmm
How did that feel like to see that? I guess like a pretty huge organization like fandom to be able to share that and kind of just show your work.
Honestly, I had no idea they did. I'm sorry.
I
Oh,
did. Oh wow,
nice. Well, there you go.
No, I had no idea.
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that they were able to do that for you. Now, a question that I had asked you actually before we came on here today was, have you ever been to a Comic-Con? And your answer was,
No, I haven't.
this is crazy. I mean, your artwork, I think, would be, something fun to show to people who do go to Comic-Cons.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I was supposed to work there last year and this year, but this year the virus happened, and last year something else came in the way. But hopefully next year.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Now, I think a question before, early up in the chat, was actually asking about the kind of like what the comic book scene is like up there in Norway. Is there one? Is there like a big kind of geek presence up there?
Oh yeah, I would say yeah.
Okay.
The manga style here is very popular on manga and anime.
Okay.
Not so much like you have like Marvel and DC, but there's mostly like movies. But
Right.
I would say anime and manga are way more dominant here.
Okay. Yeah, very nice. I mean, hopefully you get a chance to come out to one of these Comic Cons because yeah, as I said, they're a lot of fun and there'd be a lot of stuff for you to, I think, enjoy, especially being like we talked about before the show, all those tabletop games behind you
Yeah.
are a lot of fun, and they do the tabletop gaming too at Comic Con.
Awesome.
Nice. Josh, any other questions there?
Yes,
chat?
We have one from Christina. She says, "How do you feel about creating an art that is so fleeting? She finds it fascinating."
Huh.
Like fleeting, you mean the pieces that I destroy?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. For me, it really doesn't matter because I can do another one just the day after, so it doesn't bug me. Like
Nice.
I take a photo of it and I have a photo and I can remember it. But when you work constantly as much as I do, and you do one painting or some sorts per day, that's like 350 paintings a year. And I've been doing this for many, many years now. So it's like, it doesn't matter. I can just recreate or make it even better the next day.
It's almost like the art itself is in the process of making the art, not necessarily always the final, piece.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like that. Yeah, very
Yeah.
zen. I like that. Like, good question, Christina. I like that one.
Yeah, she has another one too. She says, "How long have you been a tattoo artist?"
I started tattooing when I was 17, or that's when I did my very first tattoo. And then after that, I kind of just, I'm still tattooing, but not as much. Don't really have time to do everything I do. But yeah, I started when I was 17.
Now, I'm guessing that medium is a more difficult to do than, say, drawing on paper.
Yeah, it is, but it's also very nice because you can learn so much from it. The thing I learned a lot from tattooing is like you don't have a eraser, so if you make a mistake, you can't really erase it and start all over again. And that's something I like to do. I took that part of tattooing into my other art. So when I do whatever I do today, I don't use a eraser. I don't even own a eraser in that sense.
Wow.
So whatever I do, I I just go for it, and I'm like, if you have a razor, you always have that idea behind, okay, if I make a mistake, I can just redo it, and you kind of like
Right.
stuck in the loop because, oh man, I did it like this, and it doesn't look as good, and then you raise it and you move it like 1 millimeter, and you just kind of waste time, and you kind of get stuck on that point. But if you know, okay, I don't have a razor, this is what I do, and it needs to be good because it's gonna be there for the rest of the painting,
Right.
and going with that mindset, it kind of my process at least goes so much faster.
That's interesting because it's almost like the eraser is training wheels, and you have to kind of take those training wheels off to learn how to ride the bike.
Oh yeah, pretty much. I mean, don't get me wrong, I use it from time to time, but
Right.
it's very, very rarely. And then when you do like salt or gunpowder, you don't have erasers there either.
No. Nope. Can't erase gunpowder, I guess.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, Josh, another question.
So this one's from Hey Mr. Azari. He says, what are some of your favorite fandoms?
Oh man, like different kind of movies you mean, or series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. Yeah, cartoons, could be anything.
Oh man, I'm a huge geek. I love everything.
Well, nice.
I don't know. It's like asking a parent what's your favorite child, I guess, if you had
Right.
100 children. I don't know.
Did you grow up like watching, because I don't know what they had in Norway for in terms of like television. Did you grow up with like a bunch of Saturday morning type cartoons or anything like that?
I was always watching German television because they had the manga or anime.
Okay.
I grew up watching RTL 2. That's a German television show. And they broadcasted anime from like noon until 5, 6 p.m., I think. So I was...
No, we lost you again. We'll wait a few seconds for him to come back here. A few more seconds. There you go. You're back. Sorry. It has to travel across the sea to get to us, your signal. So it takes a minute for it to do that. That's interesting. I never knew that they would have, that's 5 hours of anime programming on German television.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It blew my mind. Like I was stuck on the television watching it. That's how I learned German as well. I didn't know how to speak German, but I wanted to watch it. So
that's funny because you were speaking German to me before we started the podcast, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I mean, I'm of German descent, but I don't know the language.
Yeah.
I should have watched German television growing up.
Yeah, watch anime on German TV.
Yes. That was a good answer. All right, Josh, another question.
I don't see any. Okay, here we go. It says, how many languages can you speak?
4 fluently that are completely different. You have like Croatian, German, English, and what did I say? Norwegian.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's impressive. I have a hard time learning too.
Impressive.
Yeah. I guess sometimes you kind of have to. I mean, if you're going to be moving to a different, foreign nation, you kind of get immersed in their culture too. And like you said, watching German television, you're going to eventually learn it.
Yeah, exactly. When I was a kid, I was watching a lot of German television, and obviously I was speaking Croatian. And then when my parents decided to move to Norway, I didn't basically even heard so much about Norway. And then we moved here, and then I didn't know how to speak English when I moved to Norway. So I was just speaking German to Norwegian people, and they were answering in English.
That's weird. Okay.
Communicating. So I learned English to learn Norwegian, basically.
Wow. How it all comes full circle.
Oh yeah,
I like that. That's funny. Now, were either of your parents or any family members artistic at all? Did they do anything in the arts?
No.
You were the first one?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the first one. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
They're probably watching you draw stuff like, where did you get that from? But I can draw. Yeah, you never know. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Now I know that based on like your DeviantArt page and stuff, that you're kind of into like the darker stuff. Like you're talking about drawing lots of skulls when you were a kid, and I'm like that too. I like the more darker stuff. Was there any influences there? Like any movies that you liked that were horror based?
Oh yeah, Alien, the movies, and the Predator movies, and all the super classical stuff. Nice. H.R. Geiger was a huge influence in that time, and you have Guy Aitchison, who was also a big influence for me. And there's so many of those classical, amazing artists and creators that were influencing me back then.
Yeah, especially H.R. Geiger. I think he was a big influence for a lot of artists back then because he kind of broke the mold in a way for a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
definitely. In horror. Yeah, very impressive. Looks like there's another. Do you want to? Do you see another question there, Josh?
Yeah, no, it's just people are really impressed about your board game collection behind you. Really admire it.
This tower of board games.
People are also impressed to be able to watch anime from 12 to 5.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah. Well, if you don't go to school and you pretend you're sick, you can do that.
You're set for the day.
That's pretty funny. I like it. Not digging, but that's impressive collection of board games. That is for sure. And you said that you're more so just a collector of board games more than you even play them, really.
Yeah, I would like to play more, but I don't have the time since I'm basically working from when I wake up until I go to bed every single day. And it's very rarely that I get time to play them, so it ends up me just collecting them. Like I have like a huge pile behind me, but I have way more in the other rooms. I have 2 more rooms full of board games.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it is. Collect but don't play. I like that.
Yeah, there's a reason I like collecting, because like art and everything else, there's so much creativity behind artwork, and so is behind board games. So even if I don't play a board game, I will maybe learn the rules of it just to see the creative process of how somebody made up a game and try to come up with difficult problems for you to solve and work through. So I'm so inspired by looking at how the design it was made per game, not only the box cover art, but just like the mechanisms that's involved in each and single game.
No, that's true. It's funny. It actually reminds me of when I went to a summer camp. Like it was like a summer camp for the arts, and they made us create a board game from scratch. We had to come up with the rules and what cards we're going to use, and it was really fun. As someone who is creative minded, it's you're right. The process is challenging, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Looks like we have a few more questions there, Josh.
Yeah. So we have another one that says, "Have you ever tattooed a piece of your art on yourself?"
Yeah, I actually have not artwork I have done, but I have a huge piece of H.R. Geiger that I tattooed on my thigh. Like the whole thigh is covered by one of his portraits, and that's one of the very early tattoos I did myself as well.
Is that painful, or is it less pain? Is it not? Is it more painful to tattoo yourself or have someone tattoo you?
Depends on the placement. Like the thigh itself, it's not a very painful spot at all. Okay. So I couldn't tell you. If I would tattoo a more difficult and painful spot, it would probably be easier if somebody else does it.
Right. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, look, you were talking about being busy all day, and you said you did 9 to 20 pieces of art per day.
Yeah,
those are like finished completion pieces.
Oh yeah, the finished one. Like when you see like when I'm saying 9 to 20, it's like one of those 9 page with 9 different artworks, because each one of these is one drawing literally by itself that I just put together, and there's 9 pieces. So when I do this, I normally tend to finish like 1 page a day, and then like maybe even 2, just depends on how much time I have, because I'm working on other projects that I can't show on Instagram at the same time while I'm doing these. Right. So yeah.
No, that's impressive. We have a friend of ours, Tamer here, who says this is cool because he has been a huge fan for years.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, he's finally able to buy some of his prints for the first time this month. So.
That's so awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, very nice. And yeah, wow, this is amazing, says Mark. I think they're all kind of like wowed by your talent here. I mean, it's so diverse, especially this piece behind me. I'm still just enamored by like the each individual strand of hair in her head is just impressive. Like, how long would this piece behind me have taken you to do?
Want to guess?
Yeah.
Give it a guess.
I would say 3 days. 3 full days.
Nah, 1 day.
What?
1 day. Oh wow!
You gotta be kidding me! I'm like, I'll be conservative. I don't know. Holy cow!
Wow.
No, the thing I did when I was younger, when I was like 16, I was still going to art school. I kind of set a goal for myself when I was 16 to do at least 1 painting, 1 artwork, 1 whatever that's art related per day without any excuses. So that kind of forced me to work creatively and then push myself every single day. And I was doing that for my goal was from 16 to 26. So like 10 years straight, I would do that marathon basically. And I pretty much did. I skipped just a very few days sometimes because I couldn't do anymore because my hand was hurting so much. And the other times when I was really sick. But when when my hand was hurting, I kind of felt so guilty I couldn't work, so I switched to my left hand. So I was practicing painting with my left hand as well. So I was basically
Dang.
doing the thing where I did one artwork every single day, and then since you don't even use a eraser, you just kind of blast through this without even thinking. So when I do like the page of 9 different portraits, it doesn't take me a full day. It's like 3 hours and I'm done. And the thing I do, I just put on a podcast or like a different kind of YouTube channel or whatever. So I have something to listen to and focus on, and my hand does everything. I didn't even think about it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Wow.
That's a strong work ethic, if anything.
Yeah, like my goal was to set up such a huge unachievable goal. So even though if I would fail, I would still make such a huge progress. And I kind of managed to not fail. Like, so I kind of pushed through when I was 26, and I was like, oh man, I did it. It worked great. And then I just couldn't stop because I was so routined into doing it that I'm still doing it. Today, I was like, I'm 31 now. I'm still doing one art piece per day.
Wow.
And here I am just sitting here while playing video games,
I know.
watching movies. I'm not doing anything. Woo! Okay, maybe I need to start getting to work. Holy cow.
Like a pencil or something.
Right? Oh my god. So Jen asked, when you say one day, are you talking 24 hours or like 16 hours, 12?
From when I wake up until I go to bed.
Okay. Wow, that's even more impressive than 24 hours.
That's
So there you
impressive,
go.
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, I
remarkable.
do take breaks. I hang with family and I try to play board games, but while I'm playing stuff with people and friends and hanging with them, I'm still thinking about work, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna design that. So I'm constantly at work. Like my sister is like concerned for me. She's like, dude, take a break, do something else, turn your brain off. But I can't. I'm just like, if I don't draw, I think about drawing, and then when I'm drawing, I'm also still thinking about drawing. So it's kind of weird.
Hilarious. Yeah, Mark says it sounds super casual to you just to do that.
Yeah, it did. I'm like, I don't know what to do if when I try to do like I had like a tiny little break like a few days ago. I went up to the mountains and I brought my like iPad with me just in case. So it ended
Okay.
up just me doing still one painting per day anyway. So
Okay. So
now
you
being
do
at mountains, so that's good.
right. There you go. Now, so you do work in digital then as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started recently just because it's so easy and for some reason people really liked it.
Okay.
And I was like, mind as well. If you enjoy it, I'll do it. Why not?
Yeah, man of every
awesome.
medium. It sounds like.
Wow.
Do you see any more questions in the chat for this gentleman, Josh?
Not right now.
Okay.
I'll bring them up when they come.
Okay, so whoever's in the chat right now, if you're just joining us, if you have any questions, our artist here today has done almost everything, it seems like, in terms of art. So if you have any questions for him or maybe his process, let us know. They think we're all speechless, is what Jen says in the chat. That's why they're just wowed by your artwork.
Have you
That's
come
pretty
across
impressive.
a favorite style to copy?
What now?
Have you come like a favorite style of all the ones that you just love to copy?
Not really, because when you do them a lot, you kind of figure that they're all the same. There's so little between those styles. I mean, there's like some that are maybe a little bit different than the others, but they don't tend to look as cool. So I wouldn't say no. They kind of it's like a bland for me right now because they're so similar. Like the design wise, if I show you like a Simpsons character, Family Guy, and a Rick and Morty one, you would immediately know which style it is. But if you just break it down how they're made, it's basically the same kind of thing. It's just
Right.
there's such a small little difference that separates them, and that goes for most of these super popular shows.
Sure.
Like you can do like Homer Simpson, and I can just of course remove the color, make him like more palish grayish, and then you can just adjust the eyes, put the nose a little bit down, and he will look like a Rick and Morty character.
Huh.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think of it like that.
It'd be fun. It would be really fun to see someone do that, like on Procreate, as like a time lapse video, and like show it start out as Homer and become like Rick or somebody. You know, I don't know. It'd be kind of fun.
Exactly, and that's something that will probably go viral if you do so.
Right. Well, there you go. You should do that. Yeah, there you go. Get a fun little video. So
Yeah.
are you still teaching? Is that still an ongoing thing for you? Is that your day job?
Oh no, I never worked as a teacher.
Oh, you
I
just got your degree for that and kind of learned to
Oh yeah,
teach. Oh, nice.
because you need to have something to fall back on, yada yada yada. But
Gotcha.
then yeah, I was tattooing. I was tattooing while I was studying because I
Okay.
kind of wanted to be a tattoo artist, but same time I wanted to finish the studies just basically because my family was kind of pushing me. Okay, you need to have a degree. You'll do better in life. All of that.
Right.
Uh, but I never. I had courses, like a bunch of different courses from amateurs to like professionals and the whole spectrum. And then it's real nice, but I don't do it anymore. It just takes so much time to do.
Yeah, I guess so. Huh? Now, was there any particular artist that you ever watched like draw, and or was it just stuff that you learned in school how to draw?
I haven't really learned a lot in school when it comes to art.
Okay.
I was going to art school, but I was never in the classes because I kind of felt that it was going so slow. I didn't learn enough that I wanted to learn. So I just kind of finished they gave me a task, and you have in art school here at Norway at least they give you a task and you have to prepare and think about and design and yeah like figure stuff out, and you get like a week to do it. And I just
Cool.
do it the same day, and I'm off, and then I work on other stuff because it
That's
was just going
hilarious.
really slow for me.
That's funny. So we have a Nerdy Curious. They're another podcast, and they're asking, is there a medium that you would like to try that you haven't gotten a chance to work with yet?
Yes, but they're very, very hard to pull off. I want to do something underwater where I would need to dive and paint underneath the water. I want to
Okay.
kind of try something along those lines. But the most things that I came up with, I kind of already tried.
Yeah,
I,
you're
the, the thing I want to do is take the mediums I have and push them even further. So
okay.
either make it harder for myself to pull it off, or just make it so much bigger that it's really impressive to look at.
It's almost like a magician who has to think like, okay, how do I make this bigger? How do I make this,
Yeah,
trick more exciting? Or I don't know, it's
yeah.
kind of fun. What
The
would you
thing I
paint?
kind of
Well, what would
well,
you
no,
use to draw underwater? Like what kind of medium?
I was thinking about light itself to
Oh,
use shadows to draw underneath the light, underneath the water, and then
okay.
I was thinking about drawing something in the sand itself, like basically just manipulating the sand and drawing on it. You have also color that's waterproof that you can paint underneath.
Okay.
So I will need to experiment a lot, but I live in Norway. It's very cold here, so you don't.
Yeah.
The water is not suitable enough to be underneath for a very long time.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to come out to California to do that. Go to
Yeah,
Southern
probably.
California and dip in the water there, or Hawaii or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's funny. Yeah, people like that idea in the chat. They're saying the water concept sounds really cool. Giving
yeah, and
watercolors a new meaning.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like that. Great questions in the chat there. I'm like, Coach JD is another artist in our chat saying that he like it's like making sand sculptures at the beach, right? Well, we
Yeah.
kind of talked about that with your gunpowder art and your destructive art, where it's like people who build sandcastles, like the whole concept is you build this nice piece of art and you know it's going to be washed away, you
Yeah,
know. So it's more in
that,
the act of making it.
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
It's like performance art, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, it's always fun to watch those guys. Yeah, I've done that before when I've been to like the Hawaii and down south, watching people build sandcastles on the beach. It's to me, I'd be frustrated doing that personally. I don't know. That's me. Have you done any sculpture work? I don't think I've seen that in
No,
your work. Okay.
you don't have enough hours during a day to do everything. I kind of gave up music and doing sculptures and just focused like in one direction because you can't really become extremely good at everything. So you just need to like find your path and go with it and branch out in then one path
Okay.
instead of doing sculptures and doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Did you enjoy doing that kind of stuff though?
Oh yeah, yeah, I loved it. I
Okay.
mean, I love doing everything that's creative and that kind of drives your fantasy to do what you can do.
Right.
Just you don't have time to do everything.
There you go. Very nice.
Do you have
Josh,
any? Yeah. Do you have any recommendations for aspiring artists to get going?
Yeah, yeah. Do what I did, but maybe not as extremely, because it's probably not healthy to do it. But the thing I would recommend is just uh, whatever you do, don't stop doing it. Your artwork is probably going to look very bad at the very beginning, like mine did. you don't know what you're supposed to do. So you just need to make it a habit to draw, even though you don't get any positive feedback. Because in the beginning, since we live in the place where everybody shares everything, you're gonna share the artwork you make, and you're probably gonna get a lot of haters, a lot of hate in the very beginning, just because
Yeah.
there's so many trolls on the online.
Mm-hmm.
Don't listen to those people. Don't get discouraged by the negative comments you would get, because I encourage you to share things online. You just need to have thick skin to tolerate all the negativity, because it can be very difficult. But uh, work a lot, push it, start, put it online. Try to get feedback from other artists that maybe are slightly better than you. Don't seek out the best artists in the world. Just get some approval from somebody who's maybe a little bit better than you, and just try to learn tips and tricks that you can from the very beginning, and basically never give up. It will take you many years until you're comfortable saying that your artwork kind of looks okay at that point,
Right.
because there's no shortcuts. You just need to invest the hours like everybody else does. So there's no magic brush. There's no magic secret I can tell you. It's like, do this for 10,000 hours, and I'm gonna guarantee you're gonna be good.
Never give up. I like that.
Yeah. Like the thing that drives me insanely much is like not necessarily the creative part, because that's a huge part of it, but it's mostly people who work hard. It doesn't really matter what job it is, what profession it is. It's just somebody who's has such a passion for the thing that he's doing. He doesn't give up, and he's constantly pushing for it. So if you can do that with art itself, it's such a strong. It gives me such to myself. It gives me such a strong drive to just see somebody working incredibly hard to achieving something. So satisfying, and that's something that inspires me probably the most.
Nice. Looks like we have some more comments in the chat, Josh.
Yeah, a lot of people are just impressed, and like one of our friends, Jen, is just saying, "Oh, I keep looking at your shop. I just keep adding and adding stuff to the cart." I mean, it's very impressive. You know, the one style that I really enjoy a lot is the creepyfied.
Yeah,
I
did too.
Like how you did with Star Wars, and who was it? Zelda and everything like
Wizard
that.
of Oz was a good one too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, those are fun. They're like filler drawings. There's something that I draw like in the spare time when I'm not drawing. They're so simple to make and so much fun.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of gives me that like Tim Burton feel, like almost like a Night Before Christmas type of feel to it. And I mean that's what I really enjoy a lot is, you know, that style is fairly unique.
Skewing the reality, you know, it's kind of like or warping reality.
You don't need to think about like anatomy or anything. You just turn off your brain and do whatever you think will look kind of cool and creepy.
Right.
Yeah.
With all those board games behind you, do you desire to make your own board game one day?
I already did.
Oh, you
did?
did?
Oh yeah, I haven't published it, but I did. I already made 3 board games.
I should have known that.
Because there's that design process that's so creative and so fun to do that I kind of, when I'm playing like board games, the ones I'm playing, I'm thinking, okay, why did he design it like this? And what if he would design the other way? Would it work? How would it work? What kind of age group? What kind of people you would try to target? So yeah, I did my board games, but I don't have time to publish it or work more on it. I hope I'll do it one day.
Oh, I think people would love that, I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be fun to see someone who collects it and knows so much about it to actually create their own. So hopefully someday you do get to.
Yeah, hope so.
Yeah. All right, Josh, got something else?
Yeah, so Mr. Zari, he asked, you know, what are other mediums you applied onto your art besides canvas, paper, or skin?
What other mediums I'm using? So there's... Oh, man.
He's like,
this podcast was 1 hour, right?
Right? He's like, yeah, this.
Yeah. You have like the Polaris tape art, and then you have heat changing art, and you have glow in the dark art, and then you have salt as mentioned, gunpowder as mentioned, color sand as mentioned. I did artwork with my own blood. I did artwork with ashes of deceased animals. I did artwork with something, and I don't even know how to call it in English. I did water repellent art on the sidewalks. I did shadow artwork. I did inverted artwork. I did. I don't know. I did a lot of different stuff.
I think you might be the
That-
most metal artist we've ever had on the show.
yeah,
Metal artist.
I have to say, it's really
that's
impressive.
amazing.
Yeah, we have a friend of ours, Dima, that would probably love your stuff. I mean, he probably already knows who you are, so who knows?
All right, awesome.
That's funny. All right, what else we got in the chat there?
I think everybody's pretty interested in like your use your own blood as for artwork. This is what I think somebody else right here says. What did he make with blood?
So since I'm in contact with a lot of different people, I was in contact with some doctors, and then the topic came up that there's a need for blood donation, but there is not enough promotion to promote blood, at least in Norway. So I kind of took it upon myself to contact the blood bank here in Norway and ask them if they want to collaborate with me. So the thing I did, we kind of did like a TV stunt for it. I went and donated blood. I got a little bit of my blood back home, and I started painting artworks that were blood donation related. So I was promoting images that would encourage people to donate blood by painting it with my own blood. So I kind of didn't make it like creepy or disgusting or anything. I just tried to make it as appealing to as many people as possible. And it was broadcasted on national television, and it made a huge like a thing of it to promote it. So it was very nice.
So you really put your blood, sweat, and tears into your art.
Literally.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's great. Kind of reminds me of like when Kiss did that for their album cover back in the day. They put their own blood in it. It's funny. Yeah, people are like going crazy in the chat right now. What? It's awesome.
We're like, oh, you have a new fan now here.
Yeah.
So it's
no. When you say animal, actually, are you talking about animals that like are in the wild, or are you talking about people's pets that you've used to create artwork for them as like a memorial?
Okay. People's pets, because it's something so dear to most people. I mean, pets are basically family members, and and I thought it will be a very nice way to remember them if you can make a painting with their own ashes. So the thing I do, I just ask them to give me a little bit of the ash. I need like a tiny half of a tablespoon, basically, of ash. I mix it with water, and then I just paint up a portrait and send it back to the customers or the people who own the dog.
And does that stick to paper, or do you have to put like some kind of like shellac over it, or?
No, it sticks nicely to paper because I use water and see-through acrylic as a binder.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, that's that's impressive. That's a great idea too. It seems like not only are you creative in just like how you draw things, but like the intent behind them and what you use them for. Yeah, that's really nice. I like that.
Yeah, I tend not to make artwork just for the sake of making it. My stuff, I try to always have the artwork tell a story and have a meaning why I would do it. And the better the meaning, the more people will normally like it than just saying like, oh, there's another bland picture of a character that everybody knows, like the one behind you. I mean, it's maybe nice to look at, but it's super basic. It's a character that people know, right?
There you go.
So it's just like it was fun to draw and people liked it, but it doesn't really give you a lot of stuff.
Sure. Yeah, it's not like it doesn't have like the meaning behind it that say, helping people, drive to a blood bank and remember their pets. So I get that. Very nice. And people are they're dropping your link in the chat so they can check out your artwork in your store.
I dropped a link of they said the promo video for the blood drive that shows how he did I guess it was like the binding of hands with a heart with his blood. That's very impressive.
So when you're doing daily artwork, how do you decide what you're going to work on a given day? Like, do you have a big like list of stuff I want to get to eventually, or it's just kind of like inspiration for that day?
Both. I have a list of things I want to do, and then if I come up with something that I want to do more, I just want to do that. But like lately, the last few years, it's basically all orders. So people come to me and they ask me, okay, can you do this, this, and this for me? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it like this, this, and that. And if you want, we can do it. If not, I'll find something else to do. So it's basically I do stuff for people. Lately, mostly celebrities and like giant houses like Netflix and HBO and Sony and all of those houses. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. What's the most recent project you've worked on for one of them?
I'm working on one right now that's gonna be launched in 2 days or like promoted, and then it's gonna be out in like 2 years. But I'm not allowed to say what it is. It's a
Darn.
huge thing.
It's a huge thing, huh? So you're excited about what this property is?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
Okay.
super good. It's gonna be
Nice.
yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Okay. Darn, too bad we can't sneak something out of you.
No, I'm not allowed. I can
No, I
say
know,
it's something it's something as big as The Simpsons or Family Guy or Rick and Morty. It's just like a
Wow.
brand new show that's gonna come up in some years, hopefully.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure it takes time for them to get that started. So very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Or anything that you're proud of that you've worked on for any of those companies that you really like what stood out to you? Like,
yeah, the thing I really like to do is when I worked for Ubisoft for the Assassin's Creed games, they had like their 10 years anniversary, and I did the Salt artwork that was 8 by 8 meters on a black carpet.
wow.
So that kind of stood out because it took me 1 month to do it. So that was kind of cool.
Holy cow.
Alex would have freaked out about that.
Yeah, we have our other podcaster who couldn't join us this morning. He is a huge fan of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Send him the image or the video and tell him to watch all the way to the end because I destroy it at the end of the video.
That's the problem. People are really impressed in the chat by that. That's what they're saying. That's funny. Very nice. Any other questions in the chat? We have about 10 minutes left, so if you have any questions for him. So you talked about working for these bigger companies. Do you still take any kind of commissions from people that if they were to go onto your store?
Yes and no. It depends. I'm kind of expensive right now since I'm only working for like big stuff and I can't like lower my price because I don't have the time to do like normal stuff. But if somebody has a really cool idea, I might do it. I would say
that's so cool. I can't not do it.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't happen way too often because when I have the time that I have available, I do stuff that I really want to do. So it's
No, I know that question gets asked a lot in our chat, so I figured I'd bring it up for anyone that was wondering. But yeah, usually when you get to a point where you start working for studios, you already have such a full slate that's kind of, as you say, hard to, do stuff for other stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you ever do anything just for yourself though? Do you ever kind of go like, I just want this for myself and keep it and have it be personal?
No, I don't have time for it.
Okay.
Like social media is such a demanding job, and if you want to be like relevant, you need to post stuff constantly and update it and make it better than your previous stuff, and like you always pump up new interesting ideas. And like I have like 2,000 posts on Instagram, which is like crazy to think about. So yeah, I don't have time to do anything, and I don't.
Well, thank you for at least taking time out for this. It's kind of nice to take an hour out for us today.
Yeah, I needed a break. It's perfect.
There you go. You needed a break. Just look, our friend Mark in the chat says, just casually placing more and more stuff into my cart. He's on your shop right now. That's awesome. Well, what's great too is you can go onto your shop and you have so many different styles that you'd be like, oh, I can get one of this and something of that, and not feel like you're getting kind of the same thing over and over again too.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of nice. It looks so good, I can't stop. That's what he's saying.
Okay. Do you have a particular piece that's been your like best selling?
Best selling? No, I don't. Maybe the Bloody Crow.
Okay.
That one was kind of popular for some reason. The Bloody Crow, the crow that kind of flies and then it's like blood splattering behind it. It doesn't look as macabre as I'm kind of describing it.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. They all kind of sell okay-ish, I guess.
How about one that has like the most views online?
Of my artwork, that would be probably the what's called the gunpowder piece that I did of the lungs to promote the anti-smoking. That one got like 200 million views or something.
Holy cow!
Oh wow!
Most people would only dream of having that much.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's impressive. Well, it's also, as you say, like it's not just it's not just a piece of art, but it speaks to it. It's talking about the smoke in the lungs. It's creating smoke. It's
exactly.
Great idea. There you go. Looks like we have another question here from Jen. She's asking, have any celebrities reached out to you for portrait drawings or special requests of themselves?
Like today?
Oh, it could be any day. Like, have they recently?
Yeah, like 5 this week alone. It's like crazy. Wow. Yeah.
And these are like big portraits, like your. like your those like life size ones like that, or looking for smaller stuff?
Oh no, not the huge ones. They would just
Okay.
want the mostly the nine style stuff I'm doing, but I'm not sharing all the celebrities because they want to keep it private. So I just
Of
kind of
course, yeah.
yeah. But
Very
mostly
nice.
those.
Okay, there you go. So there you go, Jen. This is oh wow.
Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
crazy.
Well, Nerdy Curious also says that they admire how you're using your art to raise awareness for social issues.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try. Like I have an audience, so why not do something good?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand the internet. There's so much influence, and most people don't use it to anything positive. They just use it to
Right.
promote the stupidest things ever. It's just
Yeah.
unnecessary.
Yeah, we're part of a group of people, a collective of internet podcasts that really seek out positivity. That's what we think. It's do something for a good cause.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do something, put that much work into it. Why not?
Yeah, definitely.
So I like that. Whoa, says Jen. Yeah, exactly. 5 more minutes. So if anyone has anything else for Dino, please let us know. Before we do, because we do have 5 more minutes, is there any? Can you tell us maybe your socials and like where they can find you online other than your shop? Like,
Oh yeah. Like my shop is not something I'm updating frequently. I just post some prints that people think people will like, but mostly Instagram. It's like Dino Tomic at Instagram. I tried YouTube, but I don't have time, and I tried Facebook, and I don't have time. So it's just Instagram right now.
Okay. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say your Instagram has a ton of content. As you said, there were
Oh, yeah.
2,000 posts. So yes.
Oh yeah.
There you go. We're dropping some of those links in the chat for people too. And somebody just ordered a shirt as well from your shop. So that's nice to know that you have merchandise like that as well to purchase.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you can actually walk around and show off your artwork on a shirt.
Mhm.
So, thanks for the links, they said. Very nice. Now, do you have any plans after once all the quarantine is lifted? Like, do you have any plans to go anywhere? Do you plan to just kind of stay and work on your work for a while, for a few years? What's kind of future?
I tend to travel a lot since my girlfriend, she's a tattoo artist, and she travels all over the place to tattoo on different conventions. So I kind of tag along just for like support, but I also like tend to work on those conventions. And for me, the virus outbreak was like almost like a blessing. Like it was so good just to stay at home and work.
Like finally.
Oh yeah. But it's like I don't know. I would like to travel more, but if I'm at home, I'm still good since I'm talking with the whole world every single day, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there you go. The world's all connected now thanks to the internet.
Oh yeah, as long as I have internet, I can be like I said, I was in the mountains a few days in a cabin, and I was still talking to celebrities and doing like orders and portraits, and it was crazy.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. They said thanks for the links. Very nice. Yes. So these, you said you go to tattoo conventions. So these are just the same thing as like any other kind of convention. They have different artists there and booths.
Yeah, there's like several hundred artists from all over the world tattooing and competing, like to who get the first place in different categories.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So it is a lot like kind of like a Comic-Con, but maybe less geeky and more focused on tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's super geeky. They sell comic books and all kinds of geeky stuff there as well. It's mostly tattooing and like fully tattooed people all over the place. It's very, very cozy. It's very inviting. That's what it is.
Okay, very nice. Have you ever tattooed on a celebrity?
Not on like one of those big time celebrities, but I tattooed like a bunch of people with hundreds of thousands or plus million followers. But
right.
I wouldn't consider them like the biggest guys.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering because I'm saying if you do work for them, I've always wondered if maybe you actually got to like meet them in person and tattoo them. That'd be kind of interesting.
It will probably happen in the future, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you never know. People have enough money, they'll probably do anything. Like, all right, I'll fly out to Norway and have you tattoo me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Christina in our chat says that tattoos are often very super geeky. Of course they are. You can definitely get, your favorite comic book character tattooed on you.
For sure.
Yeah. There you go. Trevor, Josh, do you have any other questions, comments?
I think you covered it all.
Yeah.
The chat, and we're all super impressed by everything that you do, and we really appreciate that you gave us an hour of your time to talk about it.
No worries. Thank you as well.
Yeah, and we know how valuable an hour of your time is now, so we definitely really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you in the chat that did watch this today, thank you so much, and thank you, Dino, for stopping by. Please make sure to check out his Instagram. Check out his shop. I know a lot of you already have. It looks like you made a lot of new fans in the chat today. That's what they're saying. And some of your fans that have been around for a while are also here in the chat that were actually happy to actually talk to you and see you, which is nice. So
Super nice.
we are honored to be your first podcast as well.
So thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
Very nice. All right, guys. Well, if you, I don't know if you have anything else.